What if I told you there's a Shonen Jump series where... Yeah? What if I told you that there was a Shonen Jump series where characters hunt food the way pirates hunt treasure? Huh? Where ecosystems are way more dangerous than the villains, and where power scaling reaches way above Dragon Ball levels. Yet no anime fan has ever watched it.
Are you sure?
Well, boys and girls, this is Toriko, and this is a video that I've been wanting to do for a very long time. And today we're gonna get down to why the series deserves way more respect than it gets. So, what is Toriko? So, Toriko is a manga created by Mitsutoshi Shimabukuro and published in Weekly Shonen Jump. At a first glance, it seems, well, ridiculous. A buff guy fighting monsters just to eat them, right? But that's the trick. Toriko isn't about food as a gimmick. Food is the foundation of the entire world. In Toriko, ingredients are ranked and categorized, protected, and hunted like legendary artifacts. Entire civilizations rise and fall based on what they can eat. It gets ridiculous, especially when it comes to like characters like Zebra, who literally eat entire species to extinction. Like, this nigga is in jail because he drove niggas to extinction. It's crazy. And just because certain species went extinct, it drove certain countries like bankrupt pretty much. Like, their ecosystems were cooked because this nigga did that. Toriko gets crazy, bro. It gets ridiculous. So if you love world building, Toriko is criminally underrated. Like, it is insane how underrated it is. Toriko is like right behind One Piece for me in terms of world building. Sometimes it passes One Piece in world building. The planet itself feels hostile. Oceans boil, mountains move, creatures evolve just to survive, said environment, which makes said creatures even more ridiculous than they already are, right? And then there's the gourmet world, right? A place so dangerous, not even top tier characters hesitate to go to it, right? It's ridiculous. There isn't a world where humans dominate nature. Humans are barely surviving inside of it. Dog, y'all, the gourmet world is ridiculous. I could make a whole video just talking about the differences between the human world and the gourmet world. It's ridiculous. Imagine if the human world was part 1 Naruto and the gourmet world was Boruto. Like, it's ridiculous. It's literally like a night and day difference how ridiculous each world is. And the ingredients, like the capture level system, is pretty cool. It kind of gets like OD towards the end of the series, like with God and or the 8 kings and stuff. But it does a pretty good explanation at the beginning of like how that works in terms of power level. So you like, oh, this creature's power level 1. You don't really need to do anything crazy for that guy. But if this nigga over here is like power level 10 or capture level 10, oh boy, that's when the shit starts getting a little bit crazy. So just to give you a quick idea of how the capture level works, I'm gonna give you this quick quote from the Toriko wiki. Shout out. So pretty much, a capture level does not always rely solely on fighting strength. Also, it takes account it also takes in account the environment itself, the rarity, and any other obstacles or guardians in front of the ingredient. And the ingredient can be an animal or a plant or whatever, right? But when it does involve all this stuff, a level 1 beast is described as harrowing enough to require at least a group of 10 professional hunters. So level 1 requires at least 10 niggas, right? And they're all armed with shotguns specifically. While a level 3 could take 30 niggas, right? So beyond that is where it starts to get scary, because after beyond level 3 is where conventional weapons are poo-poo. So for instance, the Garada Gator at literally chapter 1 is a level 8 creature, right? I captured level 8, meaning 80 niggas. And I want to say they said like tanks or something. It was insane, right? Ridiculous. And their capture levels can increase throughout the series. So for instance, Mansum's his pet Ricky was introduced as a power level 35, and he's now around level 70, like near the end of the series. So they can change. So that's just a quick little breakdown of that. All right, so that's pretty sick. And for the world building, dude, yo, like there was that one. I'm doing this based off of what I read. I didn't read it recently, which I probably should, but going off memory, right? There was an island that I want to say it was Coco or Sunny, like in the gourmet world, where it was literally just raining meteors, nigga, and laser beams the whole time. Like, ridiculous. And then the Horse King area was sick. I kind of barely remember that area. It was just huge open plains, but one I remember, the two I remember vividly are Bluegill, and I forgot the island where the Monkey King is. But Bluegill is pretty much a giant like clam the size of America, if I'm not mistaken. It's ridiculously huge, and inside said clam is an entire country. It's ridiculous. There's a whole arc dedicated to that. It's pretty cool. And then you have, I can't remember the island, but it's like the island of monkeys pretty much, and everything there is huge, dude. Like if you, I'll probably put a picture on screen, but there's like a panel where it shows Komatsu and Toriko just walking through, which I'm pretty sure was like just normal grass. It was either normal grass or like a field or some kind, but everything there is mad big, dog. Like I don't remember how big they said it was, but it was, it's pretty big. Pause. It somewhere, one of the islands or one of the areas is like the size of the earth, like our earth, actual earth is just like a normal area in the Gourmet world. That's how big the Toriko world is. It gets ridiculous. So speaking of Toriko, let's talk about him, the actual main character of the series. Toriko isn't your standard protagonist. He isn't trying to become the greatest, the strongest person alive. He already is one of the strongest people alive. His goal is simple. He just wants to create his ultimate full cause before he dies. And that changes everything. There is no desperate insecurity driving him. No, I need to prove myself arc. Toriko is confident, respectful, and curious, right? He respects chefs as much as fighters. He treats food as sacred, and when he fights is always in service of discovery. I always like Toriko. He's shonen, but he's a shonen with a twist, right? Most shonen characters are striving to become the best. He already, not is technically the best, but he's already one of the best characters in the show. His goal is definitely shonen. There's nothing crazy about that. He has this ultimate crazy goal, like before he passes on, that he wants to do. Like Naruto and Hokage, One Piece, Luffy, Monkey D, finding, the One Piece and becoming Pirate King. Stuff like that, right? That's not nothing out of the ordinary. But Toriko's cool, bro. He's chill. He's not stupid. Toriko is insanely intelligent, dog. This dude is smart as hell. And his like physique, dude. I remember reading this on stream. It's been a while, but I think this nigga Toriko is like what, like 500 pounds, nigga, or some shit like that. This nigga's big as shit. He's insane, nigga. Can he eat? Oh my god, bro. No, like niggas always debate Luffy versus Goku, nigga. We'll get to this in a section later, but Toriko legit has to eat millions of calories. Like it's ridiculous. Like nobody's touching this nigga. In terms of like actual eating, nigga, is ridiculous. Like for instance, his house is made entirely of candy, right? And this nigga he doesn't eat it like the whole thing every day, but pretty much this nigga has to get his house rebuilt constantly. It's kind of funny actually. And right beside Toriko is he's technically the main character too, but no, he's the main character. I'm not gonna say. It's Toriko and Komatsu. Komatsu is pretty much the heart of Toriko, nigga. This nigga is what's the word I'm looking for? He's like kind of like the term they describe Shanks and Ben Beckman. He's the moon to this nigga's sun. He's the sun to this nigga's moon, or moon to the nigga's sun. I said it right the first time, but he's like the more stable, common sense nigga of this entire series, right? Komatsu, he might be one of the most important non-fighting characters in shonen, right? He doesn't fight at all. He fights in his own way of like cooking, but he doesn't really fight. He's not strong at all. There's still like hints of him having a gourmet demon, which it kind of confirmed he does, but they don't really touch upon it. When he cut air, that shit was crazy. He's not brave at first. Komatsu grows on you, man. I love Komatsu. He's definitely over Sanji for me in terms of like overall character stuff, and as a chef too. So he's pretty sick, dog. I love Komatsu. He's super cute, bro. Toriko and Komatsu's dynamic is really cool. They definitely get closer as the series goes on. Especially, was it not BB Corn? What was the arc that actually like see, this is why you used to read and research before you actually do a video. It was pretty much, you guys, it's the vegetable arc where they went into like the they went super high in the air, and that's when they first met the not the GT Robos, but the Nitro. They met a Nitro for the first time. Remember that arc? And that's when they formally confirmed to be partners. It was pretty sick. But yeah, I love Komatsu. Komatsu is definitely like the emotionally grounded character of the series. Not saying that, everybody else isn't, but like when something happens to Komatsu, it's like, oh shit, nigga, hold on. This nigga, Toriko is about to start tweaking, right? Well, not only him, everybody else does, because everybody protects him. Now, the fun part of the video. The power system of Toriko-san. So, how do I start this? So the power system looks simple, but it isn't, right? And it sounds weird, right? Strength comes from technique, training, instinct, environment, but more than any of that, it comes from what you eat. I know, crazy, from a series about food. Whoa, right? But nigga, what you eat literally alters your strength and everything about you. As far as, well, it's strength. It makes you stronger, nigga. I'm not gonna lie to you. You literally, well, no, you get stronger, but you technically evolve, right? So pretty much the way you do that is by eating gourmet cells. So gourmet cells are, right, the actual, it's weird, power system, but it's not. So damn, this is gonna be a weird one to explain. So you have gourmet cells, and they kind of do the, like with the calorie stuff, it's kind of similar to One Piece did the 6 powers. Like it's a thing that's in there, but it's kind of not like the main thing that's talked about, like versus gourmet cells, right? Then there's gourmet demons, which not everybody has. Well, everybody has if you have a gourmet cell, right? You more than likely have a gourmet demon, which they have like a pretty cool backstory that's, I won't get too deep on in, but it's pretty cool. But not everybody can get gourmet cells, right? So gourmet cells come from this particular jellyfish that spawns super deep in the ocean, and eating it, you have a chance to gain gourmet cells. If you don't, I'm pretty sure you die, which is crazy. So you're taking a big risk, but if that risk pays off, holy shit balls. But also, even if you do gain gourmet cells, you're not going to get the full benefit of the gourmet cells if you don't eat insane ingredients, right? So that's kind of the cool thing about gourmet cells, is you actually have to do something when you get them. You can't just be fucking OD powerful as soon as you eat gourmet cells. That's not happening, right? Like, come on. And they allow you to, like I said, evolve and, you know, adapt to different environments. Toriko in the Ice Hell arc shivers his muscles so much that he literally looks like he's going gear second, because him shivering the muscles causes his body to heat up. It's kind of sick, actually. But once again, everything that I'm talking about here in section wise, we can definitely expand upon in like separate videos, but I'm just giving you a quick breakdown of why you should check it out, bubby. And now my favorite part is probably one of my favorite supporting casts, right behind, you know, the Straw Hats, is the 4 Heavenly Kings, nigga. Oh my God. I love each and every one of them in their own way. Each of the 4 Heavenly Kings definitely represent like a different aspect of each. They each have their own personality, right? So Coco, so Coco is precision, poison, and intelligence. Right, his power is literally poison manipulation. Sunny is all about finesse and technique, right? With the hair, my boy. Sunny and Coco off like swap between my favorite and second favorite like all the time. And Zebra is he's just Vegeta. He's just destruction, rage, and his power is sound. And Toriko obviously is in there. That's the main character. And Toriko's kind of like I don't know. It's kind of like a mashup of all of them, I guess you could say. Yeah. I love their dynamic. They grew up together. They're pretty much brothers, but they don't act like it sometimes, which is hilarious. And they always coincidentally just happen to meet up in an arc. It's kind of funny, bro. But the 4 Heavenly Kings are sick, man. I love the 4 Heavenly Kings. The villains are, I would say, the lowest, right? There's not that many villains in the series. I won't lie, there's a lot. There's not a lot of standout villains. There's a few, right? Midora, who's the leader of the Gourmet Corps, who is an absolute menace. He's my favorite character in the series. I don't want to say without spoiling, but there's a big bad at the very end who's pretty cool. Star June, about it, bro. I can't say without spoiling, but even though I just said, you know, Star June and Midora, that's literally a spoiler, but those are cool. Typical villain stuff. I can't really get too deep into that. Now this is probably the more weirder part of the video, which is why I have the watch/read, and that's the problem with the anime. So I know a lot of people don't want to read, and that's fine, right? I'm not gonna blame you if you don't want to read, and that's why the anime is there as an option. The unfortunate thing is, compared to the manga, it's a lot more toned down, right? This is, if you didn't know, Toei is the animator of the manga, and old Toei compared to newer Toei they are censorship gods, nigga. Like if you know One Piece, you know like Marineford was censored to hell. So it's not as dark and edgy as it feels in the manga, right? It's still lighthearted at times, right? It's not like a super gory. I'm not saying it's gory all the time, but like when a nigga's arm cut off and cut in half and shit like that, Toei does not show that, right? And they definitely remove the sense of danger. And it's a lot more, I don't know, man. If you read it, if you watch the series and then you pick it up, it'll make a lot more sense, right? But if you have the option to pick one, I would say read it, then watch it because the anime doesn't cover the entire series, which sucks. And so I like really want a Toriko anime remaster, or not remaster, but a what's the damn word I'm looking for? A reboot. I want a Toriko anime reboot so bad. That shit would feed the streets, nigga. I've been dick writing Toriko since what, 2022? It's literally the fucking thumbnail on the channel. I always tell niggas to read Toriko. If you have nothing else to do, read Toriko, bro. Please, for the love of God, please, bro. But yeah, that takes us to the end. Toriko isn't like flawless, nigga. I didn't say it was perfect. It's bold, it's creative, and it's unapologetically fun. I love Toriko, right? It's a series that dared to be weird and suffer for it in a way, right? Like compared to like all the other stuff in the magazine at the time, like Naruto, One Piece, DBZ, no, but I forget. I have to look back. Like what else big was in the magazine during like 2011, right? Bleach. Compared to those, that shit was way different, right? I think Hunter x Hunter was in there too. But if you love shonen at its most imaginative, Toriko is absolutely worth your time. Please, like for the love of God, please read it, bro. Sometimes the best stories are the ones that weren't made to last forever, right? Just long enough to leave a mark. But if you read Toriko, let me know your favorite arc. If you haven't, please, Lord, for the love of God, read it, right? Like, comment, and subscribe to the boy. And comment down below. Like I said, what's your favorite arc? Let me know, please. I would love to have a discussion in the comments down below. But without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, you're watching.